There was this one guy who I was coaching. I always remember this, where he said to me, I'm sick of thinking about food. When I'm dieting, all I do is think about food. When I'm not dieting, all I think about is food. I'm sick of it. I'm my whole life, I've spent the last 30 years just obsessing about food, no matter what I do. I want this to change. And I said, how could you possibly hope to change something that you don't think about, that you're not putting any attention on? And this is the thing I always say too, is that, like, whenever I hear someone say, you're just thinking too much, you're thinking about it too much, I just think, well, you never hear someone say that in relation to thinking about good things. Someone was there talking about, man, life's so wonderful. Everything's so beautiful. My family's beautiful. My friends are beautiful. I'm just brimming with joy and wellness, and so, it's so beautiful and wonderful. You never can hear someone say, you're thinking about it too much. Stop thinking about it. Like, it's only when it's negative thoughts that, when it's like, oh, you're thinking too much. The thinking itself is not the problem. It's whether it's positive or negative thoughts. It's whether it's good or bad thoughts. You can never bring enough positive thought to something, but you can always bring too much bad thought. But it's not the thinking; it's the quality of the thoughts, right? So this guy, there's no chance that you're gonna just be able to ignore the problem and hope it goes away. That never works. So awareness is key, because how could you possibly hope to manage something that you're not paying attention to, right? So it's awareness of yourself, awareness of the inner game, awareness of all these dimensions of inner game. And then, obviously awareness of the outer game as it's happening, so you can sort of direct yourself a little better. The other thing would be knowledge. Knowledge is the other thing you need to manage your inner game. Because if you don't know what to look for, how can you possibly hope to manage that? So, like, if you don't understand the inner game, if you don't understand about the aspects of self-esteem, how to build self-esteem, if you don't understand how identity functions, how identity influences you, it pushes you and changes you, and how your values interact with your behavior, how your values drive you. So, like, if you don't know these things, how can you be aware of them? How can you change them? You need knowledge. So, and that's the point of watching a video like this, right? That's the point of engaging in information like this. I've been accused at times of thinking too much. I said that just before, because I obviously get told that a lot. And, I protest against that. Like, I don't think too much. They're good thoughts. They're good, right? Not negative thoughts, but not necessarily positive ones either, but just realistic thoughts, good, life-giving, fulfilling thoughts, right? So sometimes it's a tough thought. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you've got to be tough with yourself. You got to, when you're being aware, being self-aware, you're being honest, you're being real with yourself, right? So, and again, how can you be honest and real without the knowledge, right? So you need the knowledge for the awareness to work on the identity, the values, and the self-esteem. All this is all mental stuff, right? But what we also need is experience. We need the real world stuff. Identity mostly changes it, and values and self-esteem changes based on the actions that we take in the world as well. So there's sort of a feedback loop. And again, we're separating conversation, but they all are one and the same. Like, the conscious and the subconscious, they are the same. Like, you can't have a conscious thought without having a subconscious reaction. Your conscious thoughts are all influenced by your subconscious. So they're constantly feed. The only reason we separate them is because our minds just don't understand how to do anything else. Like, we're so linear. We have to break it up to kind of understand it. But the fact is, none of these things function independently. They all function together, right? But so we can get into the nuts and bolts of this and do our best to make some moves here, and we separate them. Okay, so. But the experience, right? So when you have an experience of doing something tough, doing something hard, and you overcome it. Actually, let me give you an example. When I first started losing weight, I did it over Christmas. The thing is, right, most people say it's going to be too tough, so I'll just wait until after Christmas to start losing weight, right? So, I mean, firstly, that's an admission. That's a self-esteem. Can't do it, right? It's, it's also indulging as much food as possible all the time. And, an identity of, I can't do these things. The experience of just sort of allowing yourself to just fail and flounder during that time, and then starting with a sense of failure. That experience isn't something that's going to make you feel good, right? But I mean, the experience I had, where I committed to the program and committed to what I was doing over Christmas, and I had a success. That the fact that it was difficult over that period of time, and I did it, gave me a profound boost in self-esteem. And so that experience of doing it helped me, psychologically. The inner game was influenced by the outer game. So these, again, they function. The outer and the inner can function together. I get like we were talking about before with the calorie counting. I'm physically calorie counting. I'm physically doing it. That's an outer activity. And yet I'm watching for and connecting to the inner shifts that I get from that. So you can't really build self-esteem just by thinking about it. You have to do stuff. And when you do things, then you feel more self-esteem when you do. But then you take that experience and you think about it, you get as much as you can from it in regards to self-esteem, in regards to values. Because that's the thing. When you're thinking about it with these dimensions, then you can start to say, okay, yes, this is something that I value. This is something that was important to me. I succeeded at. And then you start to get some momentum there, right? And then you start to say, yes, I am a person who can do this. Yeah. So lean into the things, those experiences that you have and get as much inner game development as you possibly can. So identity, values, self-esteem improved via awareness, knowledge, and experience. It's a lot to take in, but hopefully that was useful to you. Share with a friend, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And tell me what you thought about it, down in the comments. And look around for some other videos that are going to help you improve your inner game. And then keep following along, because I know you talk more and more about this sort of thing, to untangle the web of all this complexity and help you make massive, beautiful changes in your life. Okay? Good. So, peace.